It is Thanksgiving Day, and now we've got the smoker going.
Look at that. That is the most beautiful thing.
Hey, what's up? This is Patrick. I am getting ready for Thanksgiving. Got this turkey right here. We are going to be smoking it, and I'm going to be making a roulade with the legs, a la ChefSteps, so let's get started. Game plan, we're going to be taking the legs off, deboning them, then removing the breasts and the wings, taking out the bones everywhere, but one bone in the upper arm. And the rest of it's going to be completely deboned, so let's do this together.
Start by removing the leg, cutting the skin as close to the leg as possible so you can leave it on the breasts. Slice through the meat and then cut through on the back side. Remember, there's a ball joint on the leg, so cut carefully around that, leaving as much meat on the leg as you can, and remove the other leg. Flip the bird back over and remove the lower part of the wing, the one that has the two bones on it. You might have to use a little force to break through. Then slice through the breast following the keel bone in the center on either side to expose. Then you need to cut out the wishbone. Slice carefully on both sides of the wishbone, on all sides of the wishbone, and then very carefully remove it from your turkey. Then you can take the rest of the breast off fairly easily. Again, the shoulder has a ball joint as well, so be careful cutting around all the pieces there. Once you have the first breast removed, repeat with the second one. And both of them will only have one bone in it. It's the upper arm bone, also known as the airline cut. Now we have to debone the legs and the thighs. So start by cutting carefully around the femur and the other bone, then cut through the Achilles tendons and all the way around that joint at the bottom. Take your time, follow the bones and stay as close to them as possible and remove them. Then you have to remove what I call the pin bones. You probably need some pliers to do that.
Now we got the legs deboned. They both look like this. Flat pieces of skin, no bones on the inside, easy. We gotta take the weight and then add some salt and something called moo glue, which is RM transglutamase. Looks like this. It's just one brand name, but there's others out there. Now sprinkle with that, sprinkle with some herbs, and then roll it up. We wanna do about 0.5% to 0.7% of salt by weight in grams. Because this is 1,600 grams of meat, counting both legs, we're gonna be adding 8 grams of salt, which is just over that 0.05%. Add some herbs. So I'm choosing thyme for mine. Now our meat glue, transglutamase. We want to invert this so it's the opposite way. There we are. Oh, it's time to roll it up. So I'm gonna grab some heavy duty plastic wrap. Want as much skin exposed as we can. That's what I'm kind of checking for, making sure that it doesn't get bunched up like this. In fact, tucking that skin underneath a little bit would be great.
Once the skin's laying flat, make sure you roll it up and get all the air bubbles out that you can. Poke it a couple of times as you go, and squeeze to press all of the air so there's no pockets. And slice. Finish sealing the wrap and turn it a few times to tighten the ends closer. Roll it like a rolling pin for a second, and then tie it with butcher twine very, very tightly. You'll want to do this a few times in order to make sure you have an adequate seal on the end, tightening as you go.
Now that I've got both sections tied, I like to go around one more time on one end to really clamp it down. Got it fully wrapped. I'm gonna vacuum seal it. Yeah, you could probably do it in a plastic bag, but I have a hard time fitting this in a plastic bag because the friction from the plastic wrap just makes it hard. So I'm gonna go vacuum seal it. Right now we're going behind the scenes to the warehouse, or we're gonna vacuum the dirty warehouse, or we're gonna vacuum pack this thing. And the lighting is terrible. The lighting's really bad. Let me grab a light. Now we've got vacuum packed roulade ready for the sous vide and then later on smoking. And for these turkey breasts, we're gonna bag them for sous vide as well. standard plastic Ziploc bag with about 1.5 grams of a sugar combination mixture with salt. We're following the ChefSteps guide, which uses 5 parts salt to 2 parts sugar. Given the size of these, we're putting in 56 grams of salt-sugar combination between the 2 bags for these. And we'll tuck in some herbs in there, again, probably using thyme and some sage. They'll sous vide at 130. The legs, the roulade, will sous vide at 150. Then we'll finish off in the smoker. It is Thanksgiving Day, and now we've got the smoker going, and we're gonna toss our turkey breasts that we've already cooked sous vide and our roulade into the smoker.
Sister, you've been on my mind, oh sister. We're 2 of a kind, so
That are all done right here. So let's take a look.
eyes on you.
I just crank the heat just to get some crispy
I
skin on
bet
this.
you
This is the
think
leg.
I don't know
The
nothing
leg right here.
but singing the blues, oh sister. Have I got news for you? I'm something. I hope you think that.
So because I deboned this already, all that I need to do is slice it.
Watch this.
Completely boneless leg and thigh.
Look at that. Isn't that the most beautiful thing?
Crisp skin, got a little smoke on it. Tender because it was sous vide, so easy as pie. Couldn't get any better than that. So give it a shot. Try a roulade at home. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for checking this out with me. Appreciate it. And let me know if you have any questions. Take care.
Gonna steal your stuff away, my sister. We sure ain't got a whole lot of time.
Probably turn this off without touching my camera with raw turkey.